Thank you, Eclectic Praise. You just made God smile. God knows us fully, and God loves us. In a world where it sees so many people are anonymous and forgotten and unloved, God knows and God loves. And thank you for just being you. Eclectic Praise in all your beautiful eclecticity. You are a joy, and we are so grateful. During this Pride season, it's been a joy every day to walk through the Welcome Hall and then look at the front of our sanctuary, and it still just stops me in my tracks to walk in and see this beautiful rainbow waterfall cascade of pride and color coming down. MCCDC pride, the light shining through, flags, the transgender flag, the bisexual flag, the LGBT plus flag, the leather flag. I mean, we're still creating new colors and new flags because we're awesome and we're beautiful and we're creative. And it is a joy to be a part of MCCDC, this community that gives hope and adds color and adds joy. I mean, there's lots of ways to spell love, but I love spelling love with glitter and the flash that comes through that. I guess that's big glitter. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And more than ever, it is so important that MCCDC be here in a world of conflict and in a world of anger and in a world of fear. To be a place where we can let our true colors come out, colors that receive, colors that welcome, colors that boldly proclaim, we are here, we are community, we are family, we are not going to let you die alone or live alone. We are here for you. MCCDC. MCCDC, the place to be connected, the place to engaged, the place to God's bold and beautiful and buoyant and flamboyant people. It is a joy to offer a place of community in a world that really is struggling with what's being described as deaths of despair. For many years, the life expectancy rate in the United States was increasing, and now that's begun to shift. The life expectancy rate is going down, not due to heart disease or due to cancer, but what they are calling deaths of despair. A headline in Time caught my attention. It said, more millennials are dying deaths of despair as overdose and suicide rates climb. Between 2000 and 2017, drug-related deaths increased by 108% among adults aged 18 to 34. Did you catch that? A 108% increase in 10 years. Alcohol-related deaths increased by 69%. Suicides increased by 35%. In 2017, 36,000 millennials died deaths of despair, with fatal overdoses being the highest drivers. Now, the millennials are showing the highest increase, but they've also shown that it's increasing in other age groups as well, with the only exception being those over the age of 75. Contributing factors to despair: financial stress due to the high cost of health care, housing, and student loans. Another factor described in the article is a lack of social support, as fewer millennials participate in faith and community-based organizations. The recommendations to turn this around include greater accessibility to mental health resources and more affordable health insurance and more equity when it comes to education and support around student loans. Now, these are all important recommendations. These are things that I believe need to happen, and yet one recommendation was missed in the report, which is recommendations concerning the need for faith and spiritual and social support for those facing despair. All these things need to be addressed. However, more than anything, the spiritual need needs to be acknowledged and addressed. When despair meets faith, hope is renewed. When despair meets faith, hope is renewed. MCCDC, we exist to help renew hope and to help renew faith. We are here to offer spiritual and social support to those dying deaths of despair. It is why we exist. Our psalm today talks about the way that despair meets faith and hope is renewed. I love this psalm. As I was reading this psalm, I could almost imagine someone writing it today. Someone feeling lonely, someone not knowing where to turn, someone thirsting and hungering and craving. I could see the psalmist sitting at Starbucks in a journal, writing the thoughts that you hear today. I could see her at Starbucks writing these words. As a deer longs for flowing streams, so my soul longs for you, O God. My soul thirsts for the living God. And I can see her pouring out the questions that we see in this psalm. Honest questions. When shall I come and behold the face of God? Oh God, I see many faces in this world, but I don't recognize very many of them. Oh God, where is your face? Show me your face, oh God. Why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you disquieted within me? God, I don't know what's going on inside of me right now. I don't know why I'm dealing with these feelings. I'm not even sure where they're coming from. Is there anyone ready to listen? Is there anyone who really cares? And then she takes another sip of coffee and then she says, Oh God, my rock, why have you forgotten me? Why must I walk about mournfully because the enemy oppresses me? Why are you cast down, O my soul? And why are you disquieted within me? And then the big question that so many ask today, it's there in verse 10. Where are you, God? What I love about this psalm is that there's not a spiritual bypass going on here. There's not a spiritual quick fix going on here. The psalmist is taking time to call her questions out, to be in touch with what's really going on. Despair meets faith, as the psalmist testifies, hope in God. For I shall again praise the Holy One, my help and my God. Now there's one thing really important to note here. She's not praising yet. She's hoping, but she's not yet praising. She's not yet feeling the lift. And what's important here is that faith is coming before feeling. She says, I shall again praise the Holy One. She's saying, someday, oh God, I will praise you again. You are my help and my God. Her despairs and our despairs speak to a deeper yearning. Our cravings rise from deep hunger and deep thirst. We long for intimacy and connection beyond the buzz of social media. Our heart longs for something that only God can satisfy. Do you ever find yourself restless and anxious and searching for something more late at night after a long day? You've worked so hard, and yet it seems like nothing really has been accomplished. So you come to the end of the day exhausted and yet feeling incomplete, like something has not been met. You're hungry, you're longing, you're craving. And you go to the cabinet and you open the cabinet and there's this big bag of potato chips. I don't know about you, but sometimes I will open that bag of potato chips not realizing that I'm trying to use potato chips to address the craving that's much deeper. I'm trying to find in a big bag of potato chips something that only God can provide. We long, we search, we seek. The phone's a few feet away and we're feeling incomplete. And so we find ourselves going back to the phone every 10 minutes just thinking that there's going to be this breakthrough text message finally coming through. Something really important. That in the next 10 minutes, when we hear that beep on our cell phone, something transformative is going to show up and change our life. and it's just another ad. But it beeps again in 10 minutes. And we're so restless we can't sleep. We keep picking it up again and again and again, looking for something that will connect us and satisfy our souls. The psalmist from Psalm 42 knows that only God can satisfy our souls and our yearning. Deep calls to deep. It's time for us to go deep. Deep into the voice of love that knows us and finds us. I love the song that Eclectic Praise said today about how we sometimes run from God. And God keeps pursuing and pursuing and pursuing. Because no matter how many times we spurn God, God continues to crave us and yearn for us and love us, because God created us and is proud of us and loves us and simply says, can't you love me just as much as I love you? Come and sing your praises. Come and give me your life. I will guide you. I will keep you. I will direct you. Oh, love that will not let me go, the ancient songwriter says. When we turn to God and say, only you can really meet my needs, God responds and says, I'm here. Sometimes we don't yet feel it, and yet that presence is there. That's why MCCDC exists. We provide a place for people to experience God and connect with each other. Here at MCCDC, we find good souls journeying together. Oh yes, we are absolutely imperfect. Sometimes we really mess up this love thing. Sometimes we offend each other unintentionally, or we forget about each other, or we get busy and we don't care as deeply as we do care, but we know it's there and God is working through us, even through our imperfections. I know about one thing, and that is I would rather be holding the hand of someone imperfect rather than holding nobody's hand. Anybody can relate to that? A warm heart, a warm hand. And again, I am so thankful that indeed we offered a warm hand and a warm heart to Miss Fanny, gathered around her bed. And Amani and Dre, we are with you in your journey. You're not alone as you seek to minister to your family and to each other, and as you grieve. And George did not die alone. George died with your prayers and with the presence of this community. Good souls journeying together, yearning together, hoping together, craving together, finding support even in the midst of our imperfections, moving on to our higher aspirations. Our call is to be a transformative spiritual community where lives of faith are an alternative to deaths of despair. That is why we are here. Your despairs and your hopes and your cravings are welcome here at MCCDC. What does it mean to be a transformative community? I believe it means that we can take steps to transform the community beyond this community. Now more than ever, we need to be there for part of our community that is deeply wounded and hurting, the transgender community. As you know, just a couple of months ago, Ashante Carmen was brutally murdered just across the state line in Maryland. And we were her family as a congregation as well as the transgender community, and her service was offered here. There's some leads now on the one who murdered her, but that's not been found yet. And so I'm going to continue to carry her picture with me until her case is solved. And then just last Friday, just last weekend, Zoe Spears, age 23, a friend of Ashante, was murdered just a few blocks from where Ashante was murdered. The community has gathered and supported and lit candles. That's what it means to be a transformative community. We are called to change the social systems that lead to the proliferation of hate crimes in our community and beyond. We are called to offer an alternative to the fear and the rage and the hate in our community. The psalmist says, hope in God no matter what's going on. Hope in God, for I shall again praise the Holy One, my help and my God. Our hope is born from yearning. And on the other side of searching and craving and seeking and yearning is hope. In the honest prayers coming through, we also see the hope coming through the psalmist. Hope that is grounded in memory. She writes, "These things I remember as I pour out my soul. How I went with the throng and led them in the procession to the house of God, with glad shouts and songs of thanksgiving, a multitude keeping festival." God drew her heart back to the days when the community was stomping and praising and showing their true colors. She found hope in knowing that who God was, God still is. The God who brought the ancestors through the Red Sea is the same God who will bring us through whatever sea we are facing. And then there is the hope of presence. And I love this line from our psalmist. "By day the Lord commands steadfast love, and at night your song is with me, a prayer to the God of my life." The presence is there day and night. Honest to God, honest in our hopes, honest in our yearning. One thing I love about this psalm is how it is so real to life. A current day psalmist is Anne Lamott, who wrote a wonderful book called Help, Thanks, Wow. And she offers this honest prayer, and I invite us to be just as honest. She writes, "Hi, God, I'm just a mess. It's all hopeless. What else is new? I would be sick of me if I were you, God. But miraculously, you are not sick of me. I know I have no control over other people's lives, and I hate this. Yet I believe that if I accept this and surrender, you will meet me wherever I am." Wow! Can this be true? If so, God, how is this afternoon say to-ish? Oh God, thank you for your company and blessings. You have never once let me down. Amen.